Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are looking at video number 9. This is the free enterprise system. The other day we talked about a quick introduction of different types of economic systems. We talked about command economy and market economy and free market economies, mixed economies, things like that. So today we're going to take a little bit closer look at the mixed economy, the mixed market economy that we have here in the United States, where there is choice for our consumers and producers, but also some regulation from the government. We're going to decide in class and in our conversations whether we are successful in those choices and in that government regulation. So let's take a look at it. Characteristics of free enterprise system ultimately and first and foremost include that freedom. The government, when it's creating any systems of regulation, must always be thinking about the choice that people have for all economic activity. One of the aspects, in addition to free market or to free enterprise, is private property. Private property is a fundamental concept of our system, and there are different types of property or private property that we think about. So the first is land, and that can be ownership of land. We know if we think back to John Locke and his first writings that were borrowed by Thomas Jefferson, we know that Locke said that all humans should have the right to life, liberty, and property. And that was later changed by Thomas Jefferson to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But initially it was property that was sought after and still is today, is to be a homeowner or to buy land is definitely an aspect of our private property and free enterprise system. They could be the buildings, so you can buy land without a building on it, but also the building can be part of your capital as well as equipment. Your lawnmower, your car, that is all your private property. And investments. The investments that we make are part of our property. And the last one that we think about is our intellectual property. It's a little bit harder for folks to think about, but we'll be looking at that in just a second. So let's take a look at investments. I think land is fairly easy for you guys to understand the concept of the land itself, and the purchasing buildings on that land, and the equipment in which we have could be capital. Remember that could be capital for your businesses, but these could also be consumer goods as well. Like you said, a lawnmower, if that's not part of your business, then that would be a consumer good, but it's still your private or personal property. So let's look at investments. Investment property is property that earns income for the owner. It can include real estate. If you own a building that you're renting out or leasing out, such as an apartment building, or commercially, if you own a strip mall, and then you rent out or lease out those stores in each of the strip mall, then you would be the landlord for that piece of property. Most people own financial investment in one facet or another. Thinking about stocks, you guys have already participated in the stock market exchange that we did in class, but you can, if you haven't already, had conversations with your parents about whether they own stock in corporations, and some of you may even have savings accounts. It's great if you're interacting with those, but if your parents have them to the side for you, maybe savings accounts for college or for future events in your life, that's also all counts for a savings account. And there's equity in a business. If a person owns a business, then the equity or their control over that business is also part of their investment property. One thing to remember is that financial investments are the source of capital for a business that needs to borrow. So when we look at the stock here, I have stock in Disney. So when I purchase that stock, I own a portion of Disney. Disney is now taking the money that I have used to purchase that portion of Disney, and they use it for investment in buying new roller coasters or putting it towards hiring new characters or new employees to dance on stage, or to ride in the train or things like that. So all of those different aspects of Disney, whichever they use that money for. It's like a loan that they take from their from those that have invested in the company. The same thing works with a savings account. When you put money into a bank, the bank uses that money to offer out loans. That's why during the stock market crash, when everyone decided to take their money out at the same time, there was a fear, a panic. Everyone tries to take their money out at the same time. It wasn't all available because some of the money had been lent out on loan, and the bank was not backed up. They did not have enough to pay out if everyone wanted to get their money back at the same time. But what we have now is we have learned from that experience from the stock market crash, and now our savings accounts are have been backed up, and so that allows for the bank to loan out the money that you put into the bank. And if you decide that 2 days after you put $500 into the bank, you want to take that $500 back out, they have that money available that they can get. They might be borrowing even from someone else who leaves their money in the bank. Intellectual property refers to a person's creation based on their talent. That could be a song that they wrote, a painting or a photograph, a new invention or a formula. Intellectual property is really important to the free enterprise system because it allows for creativity to flow. People are not going to be motivated to be creative or work hard to find or create an invention or something in a command economy because they're not going to be rewarded for it. In the United States, our government issues patents to protect an inventor's new product. And so these copyrights are granted on literature, songs, paintings, similar creations, and things like that. And that allows for people's ideas to be protected. I wouldn't work hard as a person trying to find a cure for cancer if I knew that if it was found, I would have I would earn no benefit from it. People are protected. Their intellectual property, the things that they create that comes from our minds, that is something that drives the free enterprise system. So we have very creative arts, but we also have motivated people in the areas of invention and science and technology because we know that those creations will be protected here in the United States. Okay, so some goals of free enterprise are voluntary exchange, full employment, and profit. So let's take a look at voluntary exchange first. Voluntary exchange, the government in free enterprise should always promote choice. So consumers and producers have free choice to buy and sell what they choose. It is all exchanges are voluntary. Nobody's forced to consume or produce. So in the United States, you have all the decision making. You do not have to buy one item over another. It is your choice as a consumer, and producers the same thing. Businesses decide how much and of what they want to produce, and consumers are deciding what and how much they want to consume. Wanting more consumption might require the choice to work more. So if you have a desire to consume more and you want to have a bigger house or have a house on the lake and have boats, or you want to move to the beach and you want to have a beach house or have a summer house, or you want to travel and be able to pay for the expenses of travel. If that's the life that you want to live, then you may have to, the trade-off in that is that you may have to work more. So you might have to work longer hours, or you may have to spend more time gaining an education that will ultimately benefit you to have a higher paying job. And demand signals what should be produced. So the consumers will demand what it is that they want, and then producers or businesses will then produce that good or service. Full employment is the second goal, and this quote is a goal. It has never been achieved, and we'll talk about some of the reasons why it's never been achieved, but so that everyone seeking work finds it fairly easily at the market rate for the type of work. And like I said before, it has not been achieved in the United States, but it's a goal. It's what we're always working towards. And the reasons for that might be regional economic differences. what could pay in one area, or seasonal activity that may go on in one area, like farming, will not exist throughout the entire year. So there are going to be periods of unemployment. Um, you may have people who work as vacation or entertainment folks who, in the wintertime, when people are not taking as many vacations in the United States, might find that they need to take some time off, and so that might be seasonal work or seasonal activities. The second is periodic recessions. Our economy goes through a system of a cycle of recessions and growth. And we'll talk about that in the future a little bit, but basically it works through our economic system that we have ebbs and flows, and periods of peaks and valleys as well. So there are going to be recessions. They're built into. It's healthy to have that in our economy and having that flow. There's also transition between jobs. This is a natural unemployment rate. This is what we call frictional unemployment. And that happens when people maybe choose to be unemployed, or are taking a break, or they're moving from one career to another. People who are studying or getting certified so that they can work would be in transition. I chose to take some time off after teaching in Texas so that I could write a book. That was a choice for me between jobs, and then I came back to the education field and got a job in North Carolina. But in that time in between, I chose to focus on an artistic goal of writing a book, and did that. So I was not working the entire time during that period of time while I was writing. The last one is profit. Profit motive is very important. It fosters competition in free enterprise system, and this may be one of the most indicative aspects or goals of the free enterprise system, and easily compared to a command economy where profit is definitely not the goal. Equality is the goal in a command economy, but in profit, when we talk about a free enterprise system, profit, the individual profit for the business, for the person, is what fosters the competition. This is what drives prices down. But for companies that are looking to be more productive and efficient, it's going to create more opportunities for the consumers. It also strengthens initiative. And this is the productivity and efficiency that I was just mentioning before. So productivity, maximizing the output per person, how they want to put in, this is from like more the business perspective. You want to see putting in the fewest amount, or getting your inputs as low as possible so that you get your highest output per person. And efficiency is minimizing the cost per item. How low can we get the cost per item so you can sell more of it without losing the value in it. And efficiency, a good way to think about that is just not wasting. Okay, there's no waste at the end there for the profit. Okay, so that's all that we have for today. Make sure that you have notes on, this is video 9. Make sure that you have notes on this, and would be ready to take a quiz in class. Not promising, but just be sure that you're ready.